All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today after the series finale just aired this weekend. And this one, I'm going to focus on loose ends. Alright dudes, so thought we would go ahead and compile this video for today. Maybe tomorrow we can take a look at the pictures for the Daryl spin-off series. Got some new pictures for that, kind of a first look. So we'll go ahead and do that tomorrow. But yeah, loose ends make my ass itch. Is that not one of Abraham's quotes in The Walking Dead?
Because loose ends make my ass itch.
Yeah, that's going way back. That's like season 5 or 4 or something, or maybe season 6. Something like that. It's a while ago anyway, but that's a good one. I still haven't seen Talking Dead yet because they still haven't uploaded it to Amazon Prime for the AMC Plus AMC premiere for the Talking Dead episode after the series finale. So I'll check after this and see if maybe they've uploaded it today. Maybe I can see it. I still haven't seen it yet, but yeah. So Walking Dead loose ends. With the series wrapping up. I don't feel like there's really that many. I think that they did a good job in the series finale of really wrapping everything up and giving us a good ending for the original storyline with the comics and everything. I think they were smart not to go too far into the future with the time skip, because in the comics it goes way into the future where Carl is a grown-up. Yeah, he's like an adult. And so how many years is that? I don't know, probably like 20 years or something. And there's no more zombies around. There's no more walkers, really. They're like a circus attraction, that kind of thing. And so it's like way, way into the future. Now, in the TV series, they didn't do it. They did a 1-year time skip, as we saw with Eugene after Rosita's passing. And I think that was a really good decision, because if they'd have gone too far, it would have been a little crazy. But there were some questions, people wondering, where is Annie, or what happened to Annie, which is Negan's wife. That's one thing they didn't really show at the end of the series there. Maybe they didn't get time to, or maybe they thought, well, we're doing Dead City, so we'll put it in Dead City. So that's something that we'll probably be looking forward to seeing when we see Dead City premiere, which is the Negan and Maggie spinoff series. Maybe we'll get to see what's happened with Annie. But from our interpretation, she was back at Alexandria, which is Outpost 22, when the battle was going down. So when you had the battle at the Commonwealth with the explosions and everything else, and Pamela and all the walkers, smart walkers and everything, Annie, being that she was pregnant with Negan's baby at that time, she was obviously not there. She was not in that battle with the Commonwealth. She was, safe back in Alexandria, as you might imagine would make sense. But because of the 1-year time skip, that means that even though they don't show it to us, Negan's baby would have been born by the time we see the Eugene scene where it says 1 year later, because you got 9 months and however long it was, maybe before that, maybe another month. So so 8 months after, probably after where we last saw her in the previous episode when they leave. So Negan's baby should have been born by that time. So that's something to look forward to getting to see in the Walking Dead Dead City spinoff. That most likely we'll see Annie, we'll see Negan's baby, and then Negan will probably head off with Maggie to New York for some reason. We'll have to see why exactly that is. Now, also is a question is, will there be any complications in the birth? Like, will it be okay and everything? And I guess we'll have to see. I mean, it's possible, if you watch House of the Dragon, for example, this year they had one where you had the mother die and then the baby died too. So maybe we shouldn't say that it's guaranteed that the birth went okay for Andy and everything, but we'll get to see in Dead City what happened with that, and if it's all good and everything. Hopefully it is. I think they probably will be. I think they'll probably start off Dead City on a positive note. I don't think they would start off on that's a kind of a bleak start to it if you do something like that. But there has to be a reason why Negan and Maggie go to New York. There has to be a reason why he decides to go with her. They kind of set it up in the episode. If you look at where Negan is talking with Maggie, and he wants her to say that she forgives him for what he did in the season 7 premiere with Glenn and Abraham, but she can't do that. She can't forgive him no matter what, because just how painful it was for her and everything, and what he took away from her. So I get the sense that with Dead City, it's sort of like, Negan is like, I get the feeling he's constantly trying to make up for what he did to Maggie, and so that's probably why he'll kind of maybe follow her there or something like this. He's like a little, he like follows her around and stuff. A little dog, he follows her around. So I think that might be, even though she probably tells him to go away or get lost, he probably still won't. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, but we'll see what they end up going with for the start. Some of the other questions we got, like some of the older ones, like we never saw what happened to Heath. And we might see some of that in the Rick and Michonne spin-off series. Maybe he'll be a character in there for some of you who are looking forward to that. Or if we don't see him in the Rick and Michonne spin-off series, we can assume that he's likely dead. The CRM is the type of group that if you're not useful to them, they will sort of get rid of you one way or another. We saw that in World Beyond, where they just, if there's a problem, they don't really hesitate. They just get rid of people, erase people pretty quickly. So we'll see what happens with that. But I don't expect to see Heath in the Rick and Michonne spinoff. But it is the same location, like helicopter or CRM. Likely Heath was brought to the CRM by Jadis, kind of traded over probably for whatever she was doing at the junkyard for resources or something. And so, yeah, that's likely what happened to him. But, I think that the Walking Dead TV series ended off pretty much without many loose ends. I think they tied up just about everything. Some people were questioning the Oceanside. Yeah, it would have been cool to see what happened at the Oceanside. They didn't really do it. Instead, they brought Luke and Jules back, and they both are killed in the finale. So we can pretty much assume the Oceanside is all wrapped up. It's all finished. Maybe the group, Ezekiel, the Commonwealth, will use it as a like a vacation spot or something. But after what happened there, maybe they'll close it down, So, yeah, but that's pretty much it. If you can think of any other loose ends, you can leave them in the comments below. But I thought they pretty much wrapped up just about everything. And it was cool to see the Smart Walkers and everything, so really enjoyed it. Mark Dooley says, did I miss something? Where was Negan's wife in the finale? Did she live, give birth, die? Where is she? So I just answered that for you there, Mark. And Raj R said something similar. So there you guys go for both of you, likely at Alexandria. Probably has given birth well without any issues. And that is what I would predict, because they'll probably want to start off Dead City on a positive note. Kiki K says, the walker smashing the window calls back to the one at the mall when Rick meets the group with Glenn. Yeah, there's one where it smashes with Andrea and Rick and Glenn and the others, like an In and Around the Guts episode, if you remember that one. Like season 1, there's a walker that smashes a glass with a rock, right? So I thought it was great what they did in this one with it. I thought that was so cool. The way they did, especially having the walker like look at you while he's like smashing, he's like smashing against nice and slow. That was so awesome. It was great. I'm surprised they didn't bring in the idea of smart walkers earlier in like one of the earlier seasons to explain it, but even that is kind of a nice wrap up for why in the earlier seasons we saw that, and then we didn't really see it much, and then we see it in later seasons. It would have been cool if they would have done it a little bit all throughout, but zombies don't typically do that, so like in pop culture, but they did do it in the original Night of the Living Dead and that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit tricky, but it was cool to see them do it to finish things off. Okay, Summers, Smell the Glove is the name of the YouTube username, says, who's looking forward to Daryl meeting Rick's brother in France? So, I think this is about Michonne reading the letter that she's reading. I thought that she was, or writing a letter, whatever she was doing, I thought she was referring to Judith and RJ as your brother. I thought that Michonne was referring to Judith and saying your brother as an RJ. Some people interpreted that scene with Michonne and Rick the way they did it as like Rick's brother or something. We don't know if they're going to if Rick's going to have a brother in the TV series version. He did in the comics, but we don't know in the TV series if they're ever going to do that. So it would be cool if they did something like that in the Daryl spinoff, but don't. I wouldn't have my heart set on it because I don't see any indication that's going to happen unless there's something in the previews that I haven't seen yet for the Daryl Dixon spinoff series. Nick Ohms says, every episode I've watched, when I have always come to watch reviews afterwards. Thanks, Trev, for all the years. Have been fun. So thanks, Nick, for the great comment, and thank all of you guys for coming to the channel after, watching the reviews and stuff. Is really, really great. And we did the kind of ending of the Walking Dead video yesterday, and I thought it was great. I got to see lots of feedback from you guys, even more talking about how old you were when you started watching it, where you were at, stage of your life, the age, and then where you're at right now. So thank you guys for all the feedback about that. Operation Thrash 96 says, I can confidently say that the fallout from the decision to kill off Carl was at the minimum one of the reasons the show ended at 11 seasons instead of going of 20 or more. Nothing was ever the same. Everything started to go wrong. Actors wanted out. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain no one clapped for Gimple on Talking Dead finale night. I don't know. I haven't seen it, so but you're right that I've done videos about that. We've done live streams. When did you stop watching Walking Dead? Is one of the live streams we did, and the general response was after Carl was killed off during All Out War. That was it, because so many people identified as Carl. I think like a lot of your younger male audience saw the series through his perspective, through his eyes. So it was a big mistake, I think, that they did that. But at the same time, we don't know, all the details, all the reasons why. We don't know if there was like bad negotiations and contracts or something, or who knows, right? Who knows? But maybe it could have gone a little bit longer if Carl was still there. Maybe you'd have a few more people watching. But, I don't know. I mean, there's no way to know if that would be the case either. Maybe it would be exactly the same. We don't know. After COVID, a couple years shut down, breaks routines, and it's hard to get people to kind of come back afterwards, right? Especially for a series. Red Lotus says, did anyone notice the pilot in the helicopter sounds exactly like Giancarlo Esposito, Gus Fring? Man, that would be awesome. So some people did say that. And I don't know. I get that sense too. He does sound exactly like Giancarlo Esposito, who plays Gus in Breaking Bad. And he's also in Mandalorian too, right? He was in Star Wars. He's in all kinds of freaking stuff. He's an awesome actor. He's an awesome villain. And he's in all kinds of... He's like in everything. He's like... I don't know. For some reason, sometimes you'll just be watching a show and he'll just like show up as a character. You're like, what? So Gus Fring's here. So... that's a Breaking Bad one. I know some of you guys have seen Breaking Bad. If you haven't, don't worry. It's just an actor who's in Breaking Bad who's a great villain. And he would be awesome for the CRM. If they cast him as like General Beale, who's just a name they've dropped in World Beyond for a general at the CRM, that would be cool. He would be an excellent villain to introduce opposite Rick in the Rick and Michonne spinoff series. So I do hope that that's what they do. And also, because Breaking Bad is such a popular property, he would be really great. So let's hope that that's true and that maybe it is him. There's no way to know. Voices sound hard to tell for voices, and people can do awesome impersonations as well too. So we don't know, but that would be great if he was in the Rick and Michonne spinoff. I'd love to see it. Cinnamon Girl 612 said, Trev, this final episode of The Walking Dead was especially heartfelt for me. I lost my nephew to COVID earlier this year, who was a big fan of the show, as I was, and he was also a fan of your channel. If you remember seeing Hulk Cigar in your comments, that was him. So I want to thank you for the comment there, Cinnamon Girl 612, for letting me know. I do recall seeing that name in the comments. I did a search, and I saw that, going back 4 or 5 years ago, there was people replying to him. I imagine you may have deleted his channel at this point, considering he's passed away. But thank you for letting me know. That's sad, but I'm also honored that he watched the channel and that he liked Walking Dead, and may he rest in peace. And thank you for the comment. Thank you for your support. And I understand the series was heartfelt if it was like, one of his favorite shows and such. Captain Hargood says, I've been watching you since the start, Trev. The only Walking Dead content creator I was dedicated to watching. Thank you for all your hard work. Thank you, Captain Hargood. I do appreciate it. And yeah, well, pretty much some comments like that. I don't compare myself to others. Obviously, there's lots of people who love Walking Dead and want to make content about it, or websites or whatever. I don't know, pictures and stuff, fan art, whatever the case may be. Thank you so much. Yeah, like when I started, creating Walking Dead content videos was for the comic back in about 2008, 2009. Was when I did some videos for the comic, reviews for the comic. Thought it was really awesome. And then 2010 when the series started. But yeah, I'm really proud to say we were able to cover it all the way through for the full run. Like, we were able to cover it from the very first episode. Every review of it's in this channel. You can watch them all for every single episode if you ever want to. If you ever want to go back and watch a review of any of the episodes, they're all there. And yeah, so that's really great. So thank you guys for your support and everything, and proud that we could bookend the series together. Johnny B says, you really like The Walking Dead better than Sopranos or Game of Thrones, etc.? Yeah, I like it way better. I think that I don't compare it to Sopranos, because I think Sopranos was only, like 5 seasons or something? How many seasons was Sopranos? Am I wrong about that? There's also The Wire. People bring that up a lot as one of the best series. I don't know. I'm not too into the mob stuff with Sopranos. I don't, I remember it being really popular and everything. But with Game of Thrones is a great series to compare, because Game of Thrones also started in 2010, and it's also one of the biggest TV series ever, HBO streaming series ever. And yeah, I'm really, and I'm not being facetious here. I did videos for both. I did reviews for both. I didn't review every episode of Game of Thrones, but I did most of them over the years. I really like Walking Dead a lot more than Game of Thrones. Yes, I do. And especially the way Game of Thrones ended. Even though they did some really epic episodes with some huge Battle of the Bastards and stuff, with huge battles and scenes and stuff like that. I'm not being facetious to say that I like Walking Dead better. Walking Dead had more seasons. They did, 11 and a half, or kind of like 12 seasons really with the extended stuff. Game of Thrones only did 8, and the last 2 I think were shortened. So it's really like 7 almost full seasons. Game of Thrones Walking Dead did way more episodes. Maybe they didn't have the spectacle, but they also have 16 episode runs a year, and they have some episodes that are spectacle as well. The difference is, though, is that, HBO has $100 million to put into, like one season or one episode. Sometimes they'll do that, where they'll put in so much money into one. Obviously, AMC is a bit different, but they did more episodes, right? More seasons, and I enjoyed it way more. I enjoy Game of Thrones a lot, too. I love Game of Thrones also. But I enjoy Walking Dead way more. Not even close. Also, the characters in Walking Dead are much better. Jon Snow is a pretty awesome character for Game of Thrones. Daenerys is great in Game of Thrones. But Rick, Daryl, Carol, and many of the others, even Rosita, right? I would say I think that The Walking Dead did a better job, and that the cast and crew did too, of allowing the audience to connect with these characters, better than Game of Thrones did. Even though Game of Thrones characters feel more cookie cutter to me. They feel more like archetypes. Jon Snow just feels like a warrior character. He doesn't feel like he has the depth of some of the characters of Walking Dead. He doesn't feel like he has the depth of Rick or of Daryl, some of the others. Daryl has a little bit of that too, where he's like a lone wolf, Wolverine type character. But they did also give him characters like Leah and others too, as they tried. So I don't know. It depends how you want to look at it. I understand if you think Sopranos or Wire or Game of Thrones better than Walking Dead or Stranger Things, for example. That's fine. I understand. But I'm just saying that for me, I love zombie stuff, and for me, I think Walking Dead versus Game of Thrones, season by season. Yeah, I think that The Walking Dead surpassed it in every way. For me, anyway. That's it for this video, guys. We'll see you again soon for another. The Daryl, first look at the Daryl spinoff series, probably tomorrow or the next day. So always just Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.